I was supposed to be in the hospital today. Instead, I sat on my couch, holding back tears, watching my sister post bikini pictures from Bali. She smiled in every photo, drink in hand, surrounded by her friends. The worst part, that trip was paid with the $9,000 I had saved for my surgery. I've been living with constant pain for years. The doctor said surgery would help, but it wasn't fully covered by insurance. So I worked 2 jobs. I skipped dinners out, stopped buying new clothes, and saved every extra dollar. It took me almost 2 years to reach my goal. That money meant relief, healing, and maybe even a normal life again. A few weeks ago, I had an issue with my bank account. I couldn't deposit my money without a delay, and I was scared of losing the spot I had reserved for surgery. I trusted my older sister. She always seemed so confident, always knew what to say. She promised to hold the money for just a few days in her account. "Don't worry," she said. "I've got you." I believed her. Then I didn't hear from her for a while. She stopped replying to my messages. I thought maybe she was just busy. But then I saw the pictures. Bali, luxury villas, designer clothes, spa treatments. The captions made me sick. Self-care queen nail polish sun, #BaliBabe. And I knew. That was my money. I called her. No answer. I texted. Nothing. Then she blocked me. Just like that. As if I meant nothing. My hands were shaking. I felt cold all over. I kept thinking, maybe there's a mistake. Maybe there's some explanation. But deep down, I knew there wasn't. She stole from me. Not just money. She took my hope, my health, my chance to feel okay again. When I told my parents, they didn't get it. They said, "She's your sister. Maybe she needed a break. Maybe she'll pay you back." But this wasn't a small mistake. It was cruel. It was planned. She didn't apologize. She didn't even pretend to care. People asked if I'd report her to the police. But I wasn't going to call the cops. No, that would have been too easy. I didn't want her in jail. I wanted her exposed. I wanted her to feel what I felt. Powerless, betrayed, alone. So I took a deep breath and wiped my tears. If she thought she could ruin my life and walk away smiling, she was wrong. Very wrong. I wasn't going to call the cops. I was going to ruin her life. Everyone kept saying I should forgive her, that it was just money. That family is more important. But none of them saw me crying in the bathroom, curled up on the floor, in pain I couldn't control. None of them knew what it felt like to have your own sister take everything you had worked for and treat it like it was nothing. I tried to talk to her. I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I just wanted her to admit it, to tell me why. She rolled her eyes and told me I was being dramatic. She said I always make everything about my illness, that I'm obsessed with being a victim. Her words hit harder than I expected. She looked at me like I was pathetic. I told her I was in pain every day, that the surgery wasn't about beauty or comfort, it was about being able to live. She shrugged and said maybe I should learn how to be stronger, like she had. Then she smiled and walked away like it was all just a joke. When I went to my parents, hoping they'd understand, they acted like it wasn't a big deal. My mom said, "She probably didn't mean it like that." My dad just sighed and said, "You two need to stop fighting." No one was angry for me. No one asked how I was going to get the money back. No one asked how I was feeling. They just wanted me to move on. Some of my friends didn't even respond when I told them. A few sent short messages like, "Wow, that's crazy," and then changed the subject. No one wanted to choose sides. No one wanted to get involved. Suddenly, the people I thought I could count on were nowhere to be found. I felt so alone, not just because of what she did, but because it seemed like no one cared that it happened. I started doubting myself. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it really was just money. But every time I lay awake at night, holding my stomach, crying into a pillow because I couldn't afford the help I needed, I remembered why I was angry. She had always been like this, taking things that didn't belong to her, making fun of people behind their backs, lying when it suited her. And somehow, she always got away with it. People believed her. They loved her charm, her big smile, the way she told stories. I used to think she was just misunderstood. Now I knew better. I stopped checking her posts for a while. It hurt too much. But one night, I opened my phone and saw her name pop up in a tagged photo. She was on a private jet, champagne in hand, sitting next to her boss, both of them laughing like the world belonged to them. She looked happy, carefree, like she had never done anything wrong, like I didn't even exist. And that's when something inside me changed. Not just sadness, something colder. I didn't get mad. I got focused. She wanted to live like nothing happened. Fine. But I wasn't going to let her win that easily. I started by learning more about her job. She had been bragging about it for months. Her new position at some big firm, working closely with her amazing boss. I remembered how she always looked extra dressed up before meetings. How she talked about him like he was more than just a manager. She thought she was being subtle, but I paid attention. It didn't take long to find him online. His name was easy to search, and his social media was full of polished photos, conferences, charity dinners, press interviews. Married, older, always in a suit. The kind of man who liked to be admired. I also found out he followed a lot of younger women. Models. Influencers. Women who smiled at the camera like they had nothing to hide. I saw his wife too. Beautiful, serious, very into fundraising and business awards. Her posts were all about their marriage and success. Nothing looked wrong. But I knew better. I made a LinkedIn profile that looked just right. Not too flashy, not too fake. Just a smart girl trying to build her career. I followed his page, liked a few of his posts about leadership and innovation. I left a small comment on one of his interviews. Very thoughtful insight. Thank you for sharing. Nothing flirty. Just curious. Just respectful. He liked my comment. Then, a few days later, he followed me back. After that, I moved to Instagram. I cleaned up my account, added a few new photos, some books I'd read, a quote or two about growth and ambition. I followed him. He followed back. Then came the message. Hey, I recognize you from LinkedIn. You're in the same field. I waited a few hours before replying. Trying to be, I wrote. Still learning. Loved your talk on ethical leadership, though. Really stuck with me. He sent a smiley face. Happy to hear that. Always good to see young professionals thinking ahead. I kept the tone light. Never too much. Just enough to make him feel seen. I asked questions about his work, said I was looking for direction, told him I admired how he balanced success and family life. He liked that. He told me not many people noticed that part of him. We chatted off and on for a week. Nothing strange. Nothing risky. Just little comments, short messages. I dropped hints that I was ambitious, curious, but unsure where to go next. He offered to give advice sometime. I thanked him politely and didn't push. He liked the game. I could tell. Men like him always do. And I was just getting started. She took $9,000 from me. Money I worked for. Money I needed. But the more I watched, the more I saw something even bigger. Something that could hurt her more than I ever could with police or angry texts. Her secrets. I started noticing little things. Small details that didn't match. My sister had told everyone her Bali trip was with friends. A girls-only retreat, she said. But in one photo, I saw a man's hand holding a drink next to her. It was cropped out quickly in later photos, but I remembered that ring. I had seen it on her boss's finger before in his posts. Then I looked closer. Venmo payments from him to her for things like lunch or car rental, always at strange hours. A photo she posted in a hotel lobby in Bali was nearly identical to one her boss had posted a few days earlier on his own account. Different angles, but clearly the same place. She was sleeping with him. I was sure of it. Her boyfriend didn't know. He had commented, "Miss you," under her post while she was probably lying in bed with her boss. The whole thing was fake. Her image, her stories, her loyalty. She had fooled everyone, but not me. One afternoon, her boss messaged me again. "I'll be in town next week. Want to grab a quick coffee? We can chat about your future plan." I looked at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, "Sure, that sounds great." That's when the idea came together in my mind. Not just getting even. Not just making her feel bad. I wanted her to lose the one thing she cared about most. Her image, her power, her little perfect life. He thought I was just a sweet, curious young woman. She thought I was weak and quiet, too soft to fight back. They both had no idea what I was planning. It wouldn't be quick. It had to be clean, calm, and smart. I would meet him. I would act polite, ask questions, let him talk about himself. Men like that always talk too much. I would let him think he was special, that I looked up to him, that I trusted him. I would gather everything I needed, words, photos, proof. Then I would wait for the right moment. A place with people around. Somewhere she wouldn't expect to see me. Somewhere her perfect little world could break apart in seconds. I didn't want to hurt him. He was just the tool. The real goal was her. The sister who smiled while I suffered. The one who stole what she didn't earn. I had a plan now. A good one. All I had to do was play my part. He started messaging me more often. Little things at first. Asking how my week was going, sending a link to an article he thought I'd like, saying he enjoyed our chats. I always replied kindly, kept things light, like I didn't notice the way he slowly tried to get closer. He liked that I wasn't too eager. I let him feel like he was in control. He told me I was refreshing. Said I asked smart questions, that most people only talked about themselves. I laughed at his jokes, nodded at his long rants about business, and kept my real thoughts to myself. He called me bright and clever more than once. I acted flattered. One evening, he messaged, "There's a business conference in New York next weekend. Lots of interesting people, good network. You'd get a lot out of it." I paused. Then I typed, "That sounds exciting, but I've never been to something like that." "You should come," he replied quickly. "It'll be fun. No pressure." I waited a few minutes, then said, "Only if we fly first class." He replied almost right away, "Done. I'll send you the ticket details tomorrow." And just like that, the trap was in motion. He booked everything, first-class flight, fancy hotel, Even added a reservation for dinner at a restaurant I had once mentioned liking. He said I'd fit right in. I smiled when I saw the details. It was more than I expected. When we landed in New York, he kept looking at me like I was something new. Not like a student. Not like a child. He liked the mystery. I stayed polite, calm, and careful. He talked a lot during dinner. About his work, his plans, how he never really felt understood. I listened, smiled, and asked more questions. He leaned in closer, told me I was different from the others. I sipped my drink and nodded. Back at the hotel, he offered to show me the rooftop view. I said I was tired. He didn't push. He just smiled and said goodnight. That night, as I lay in my room, my phone buzzed. A message from my sister. "Are you with my boss?" I didn't reply. I just stared at the screen. Another message came. "Please tell me you're not. He's just being nice. Don't make it weird." Still, I didn't answer. She was getting nervous. She had no idea how much I knew, or how much I planned to show. This was only the beginning. I picked the dress carefully. It was the one she used to wear when she wanted all eyes on her. She called it her goddess dress. I found it tucked at the back of her closet months ago. She probably forgot about it. I didn't. It fit me well better, actually. I looked in the mirror, smiled, and walked out the hotel door. He noticed right away. "That's a stunning dress," he said. "You look incredible." I thanked him like it was just a normal compliment. But inside, I knew what I was doing. We spent the day at the conference. Lots of talking, meetings, introductions. I stayed close, but not too close. I laughed at the right moments. I asked simple but smart questions. He liked talking about himself, and I let him. The more he talked, the more he felt important. And the more he felt important, the more he let things slip. During lunch, I asked, "Do you always take employees on these trips?" He gave a small laugh. "Not always. Just the ones I trust. Even the ones who keep secrets?" I asked softly. He looked at me for a moment, but I smiled like it was a joke. He laughed again, a little slower this time. I changed the topic and let him forget the question, or at least act like he did. Later, we went to a quiet rooftop bar. The city lights were shining, and soft music played. He leaned on the rail, talking about stress, loyalty, and how hard it was to know who really cared. "It's hard," I said. "Some people are really good at pretending." He nodded slowly. "Tell me about it." I took a quick selfie with the view behind us. Just my face, him blurred in the corner, not looking. It was harmless, just enough to tell a story if someone wanted to see it that way. That night, the messages started coming again. "Why aren't you answering me? I saw your post. Are you seriously with him? Please call me." I didn't respond. More texts came. Some angry, some nervous. She was losing control. And she knew it. The next day, I wore a necklace she once accused me of stealing. I hadn't. She just didn't remember where she left it. He said I looked elegant. I smiled and said, "Thanks, it used to belong to someone I looked up to." He didn't ask who. He just nodded like he understood something. But he didn't. Every moment with him was part of the plan. Every word I said, every step I took, all of it was leading to something bigger. She was watching. She was afraid. And for the first time, I felt calm. The hotel lobby was quiet that morning. People moved around with suitcases, checking out, waiting for rides. I sat on a couch near the big window, sipping coffee and pretending to scroll through my phone. He was beside me, reading emails, looking relaxed. He had no idea what was about to happen. I had sent her a photo the night before. Just one. It was blurry, taken in a mirror, showing my dress and a man's suit jacket in the background. I didn't say anything with it. I didn't have to. She replied instantly. "Where are you? Are you with him? Answer me now." I didn't reply. I went to sleep. That morning, she showed up. The doors swung open, and I heard the sharp click of her heels before I even saw her. She looked around quickly, spotted us, and walked fast toward us. Her eyes were wild, her face red. "You unbelievable snake," she shouted, loud enough that people turned to look. "You think you're smart? You think I wouldn't find out?" He stood up, confused. "What's going on?" She pointed at me. "She's using you. She's jealous. She's always wanted to ruin me." "Calm down," he said, holding up his hand. "Don't you tell me to calm down," she screamed. "She's trying to seduce you. Can't you see that?" I stood up too, but I didn't say anything. I just looked at her with wide eyes, like I didn't understand what she meant. "I trusted you," she yelled at me. "You're my sister." "Wait," he said, frowning. "Your sisters?" She ignored him. "You wore my dress, my necklace. You think that makes you better than me?" People were staring. The front desk manager came closer, looking worried. A couple stepped away from the elevator. Someone took out their phone. "Is there a problem?" a staff member asked. "Yes, there is," she shouted. "She's a liar, and he's a cheating." "Stop it," he said, clearly angry now. "You're making a scene." "A scene?" she snapped. "You want a scene?" And then she slapped him. Hard. The sound echoed across the lobby. Everything went quiet. He looked stunned. He touched his cheek and stepped back. The hotel staff moved between them. "Ma'am, you need to leave," one of them said firmly. She started crying. Not soft tears, loud, messy sobs. I gave you everything, she cried. I covered for you, I helped you, and now you pick her? He didn't answer. He didn't look at me either. He just turned and walked toward the elevators, rubbing his face. The staff let her out. She kept shouting until the doors closed behind her. I stood there, holding my bag silent. I didn't have to say a word. She had done it all on her own. After that day in the hotel, everything changed. He didn't speak to her again. He didn't reply to her messages or return her calls. It was like she didn't exist to him anymore. He went back to work like nothing happened, but everyone could tell something happened. People at her job started talking. A few had seen the video from the hotel. Someone posted it online, and it spread fast. Her voice, her slap, her shouting. It was all there. Her perfect image was gone. She had always acted calm, kind, professional. Now everyone saw another side of her. She stopped going to work. For a few days, she tried to ignore it, but the whispers didn't stop. Clients pulled out of deals. Her boss, the one she had the affair with, kept his distance. He didn't defend her. He didn't speak up for her. In the end, she was told not to return. They didn't say it was because of the video, but she knew. Her boyfriend left her too. He saw the photos, the tags, the comments. She had told him the Bali trip was just with her friends. He believed her. Now he didn't even say goodbye. He just packed his things and blocked her number. Her friends started fading away. Some didn't want to be involved. Others felt lied to. She tried to message them, explain things, twist the story. But no one cared anymore. People stop listening when they've seen the truth for themselves. She called me. Again and again. First angry, then sad, then begging. At first, I read the messages. Then I stopped opening them. She said things like, "You ruined my life, and we were supposed to be family." But she had already ruined everything when she took what wasn't hers. She cried in voice notes. She said she was sorry, said she didn't mean it. That she was stressed, confused, scared. That it wasn't what it looked like. I didn't answer. I didn't need revenge anymore. It had already happened. I didn't have to shout or explain. The truth came out without me saying anything. People saw what kind of person she really was. I just watched it unfold. There was no joy in it. No celebration. Just peace. A quiet kind of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. For years, I tried to believe she cared. I made excuses, gave chances, forgave things she never even apologized for. But now I understood. I didn't lose a sister. I just stopped pretending I had won. I focused on myself. I worked, saved, planned. The world felt lighter without her in it. I no longer had to carry her lies on my back. I didn't need her to say sorry. I didn't even need her to understand what she did. I simply moved on. And that, I think, was the real ending she never expected. A few weeks later, I got an email from him. It was short, polite, and straight to the point. He said he appreciated how I had handled things. He didn't ask questions or bring up my sister. He just said he had enjoyed our talks and was impressed by my ideas. Then he offered to send me a consulting gift for my time and thoughts during the trip. At first, I didn't believe it, but when I opened the attached file, my eyes widened. It was a transfer confirmation. A large one. More than enough to cover my surgery. I stared at the screen for a long time. I hadn't asked for anything. I never expected it. But there it was. Quiet, clean, and clear. The kind of thank you that didn't need words. I didn't sleep with him. I didn't promise anything, and I didn't cross any lines. I just listened when he talked. I gave smart answers. I smiled when he made a joke, and I knew when to say nothing. That was all it took. I didn't lie or act fake. I let him think what he wanted. With the money in my account, I made the call. I booked my surgery, this time in a private clinic. No long wait list. No paperwork games. Just a date, a time, and my name. I didn't tell anyone. I packed my bag, left early in the morning, and didn't post a single thing. The surgery went well. The doctors were kind. The room was quiet, and the sheets were clean. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe again. Recovery was slow but peaceful. No sister calling, no messages, no drama. Just rest, books, and warm soup. My body healed, and slowly my mind did too. I realized I didn't feel angry anymore. Not at her. Not at the world. Not even at myself for trusting the wrong person. I had carried so much pain for so long. Now I was letting it go. The money wasn't what mattered most. It was the freedom it gave me. The chance to choose something for myself. To do it without begging, without explaining, without owing anyone. He never asked for anything in return. Maybe he saw something in me my sister never showed. Maybe he just liked being around someone who didn't need him. Either way, it didn't matter. I didn't know him anything. One day, while resting on the balcony, I thought about how far I'd come. A few months ago, I was crying in my room, broken and betrayed. Now I was healing, quietly, gently, fully. Life wasn't perfect, but I had something I never had before. Control. Choice. Peace. And most of all, I had my surgery, the one she tried to take from me. I didn't fight fire with fire. I didn't scream or beg. I played the game better. And in the end, I won. She still messages me sometimes. Long texts filled with memories, excuses, and blame. Some days she says she misses me. Other days, she's angry and tries to make me feel guilty. I never reply. I don't even open most of them. Her words don't matter anymore. She's not doing well. People talk. I hear things without asking. She's no longer at her job, and no one in her old friend circle includes her anymore. Her social media is quiet now. No more perfect photos. No more beach trips or fancy dinners. Just silence. I don't feel sorry for her. She made her choices. She lied, she stole, and she hurt someone who loved her. I gave her trust, and she broke it without even blinking. So now I give her nothing. My life is simple, but it's mine. I work, I rest, and I live without fear. My body is stronger now. My mind is calm. I'm not rich, but I'm free. And I no longer wait for anything from anyone. I still remember the pain she caused, but it no longer controls me. I don't replay the fight. I don't wish for an apology. I've let go. That's something she'll never understand. She's still stuck in the story, still trying to rewrite it in her favor. But I've moved on to a new chapter. A few months ago, I booked another trip. First class again. Not because I wanted to show off, but because I could. I had the miles saved up, and I wanted to feel light. I wore a simple outfit, tied my hair back, and smiled at the gate. Before boarding, I posted one picture. Nothing special, just me, standing near the plane with my bag. No caption, no tags, just a quiet smile. That was the only reply I ever gave her. She saw it. I know she did. She sent 3 messages that day. I didn't read them. I didn't need to. I knew what they would say: anger, confusion, maybe even jealousy. But none of it touched me. Revenge doesn't always need to be loud. It doesn't need shouting or big scenes. Sometimes the best revenge is peace. It's living your life without the person who tried to break you. I didn't destroy her. She did that to herself. I just stepped aside and let the truth speak louder than anything I could say. Now, when I walk through an airport or sit in a quiet room, I don't feel bitterness. I feel strong. I feel clear. I feel done. She chose her path. I chose mine. And I'm never going back. Do you think she did the right thing by walking away in silence instead of fighting back louder? Was her quiet revenge enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoy smart, satisfying stories like this, don't forget to follow for more.